If you want one camera that can do it all, something small, powerful, and easy to take anywhere, there are two options that come really close: the DJI Pocket 3 and the iPhone 17 Pro. I've enjoyed using both, but they are built for very different kinds of creators. So in this video, I'm breaking down the video quality, stabilization, audio, and a bunch of other tests. So by the end of this video, you know which one is right for you.
You gotta just press record.
Hey, welcome back to Think Media, Nate here. Now, one of the biggest differences between these two cameras is the design. One's a phone and the other is a gimbal camera. First, take a look at the iPhone 17 Pro. If you already have an iPhone and are familiar with the ecosystem, the ease of use here is going to be extremely simple. The Pocket 3 might have a slight learning curve because of its gimbal controls, but once you spend a few minutes with it, it's pretty simple. But both are pretty intuitive and easy to use. In terms of build quality, the iPhone is much more durable. It's even waterproof, so you can actually film underwater if you want to. So that is a great peace of mind if you are shooting out in the elements. You don't necessarily have to worry about the camera getting ruined. The Pocket 3, on the other hand, is a little bit more delicate and you have to really protect the gimbal while traveling. So I'm always cautious and always putting it back in its case when I'm done filming with it. When comparing the screens between the two, obviously the iPhone is bigger, brighter, and it's a lot easier to review your footage on. While on the Pocket 3, you do have a much smaller screen, but it does get pretty bright if you are filming outdoors. But I do find it's sometimes a little bit easier to use the Pocket 3 because the angle of the screen is kind of adjustable depending on how you hold the camera. Whereas on the iPhone, it is fixed. So sometimes if you're trying to get lower angles, it can be a little bit tricky. So overall, I do find that the Osmo Pocket 3 is a little bit more compact and maybe a bit more discreet if you are planning to travel or film in public. But this is another thing you'll have to bring with you, plus accessories that you might need. Whereas on the iPhone, you always have it with you and you always have the option to shoot great video. Now, good design only matters if the footage actually looks good. So let's talk about the video quality between these two cameras. So here we have the two cameras side by side, so we can really tell the difference in terms of the image quality. Keep in mind that I have these cameras set to automatic, just so we can see what it looks like straight out of camera. Starting off with the iPhone 17 Pro, what I noticed is that there is a lot more dynamic range where you get more details, both in the shadows as well as in the highlights. To me, the iPhone 17 Pro also looks a lot sharper, and the colors are looking great just straight out of camera. Now, when we take a look at the DJI Pocket 3, it still delivers a very crisp and detailed image, and I think the color is a little bit more natural and flattering, especially in the skin tones compared to the iPhone. On some of the shots on the iPhone, it looks like my skin tones are a little heavily processed and doesn't look quite as natural as the Pocket 3. But when we switch from the standard color picture profile on both cameras to their log recording format, this is where we can see a huge difference. So I want to test out the log profiles on both of these cameras. The DJI Pocket 3 records D-Log M, and on the iPhone 17 Pro, we have Apple Log and now Apple Log 2. So I'm really curious to see how these two stack up against each other. So we first look at the log footage from the DJI Pocket 3. We'll notice it's not nearly as flat or as capable as the Apple Log is. Apple Log, you have a ton of flexibility. It's on par with most mirrorless cameras in terms of its formats. You can record ProRes and even ProRes RAW in this log format. So there is just so much more flexibility on the iPhone, and you can really grade it to anything you want to and really have a nice looking image. With the D-Log M on the Pocket 3, I'm not able to achieve the same level of color grading potential. You can still get your nice color grades, but your image might tend to fall apart a little bit more. Of course, if you really want to push the image quality from the iPhone, you now have the ability to shoot ProRes RAW video, which gives you just an amazing amount of flexibility. You can change your ISO, white balance in post to really dial in that final look for your video. Although keep in mind, RAW video does chew through a lot of storage, so you will need to pick up an external SSD to even use RAW. But also note, for every 10 seconds of ProRes RAW video, it will require 1 gig of storage, so it can go through really quickly. Now, in terms of resolution and frame rates, both cameras are capable of recording 4K up to 120 frames per second, which will give you crisp and super smooth slow motion. But if I had to pick between the two, I do prefer the image quality coming from the iPhone when it comes to slow motion. So if you plan to post to social media, one thing you might be interested in is the vertical
format on each camera. So we're doing that right now on the Osmo Pocket 3 and the iPhone 17 Pro. With the iPhone, obviously you just record in the vertical orientation, so you get 4K video just like that. On the Osmo Pocket 3, you are limited to 3K resolution, so a little bit of a downgrade, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. If you post to social media, you're likely going to be at 1080 anyways, but I thought I would include what the vertical looks like on both cameras.
So now let's talk about the differences in focal lengths between these two cameras. On the Osmo Pocket 3, you have a 20mm equivalent focal length. I think this is a great focal length if you are vlogging or want to really showcase off your environment, but you are limited to that one focal length. Although you can get a little bit more flexibility out of the Osmo Pocket 3 by using the wide angle adapter, which will give you a 15mm equivalent field of view. There's also a 2x digital crop, which will give you a 40mm equivalent field of view. This does offer a little bit more flexibility, although you will lose some image quality. The iPhone 17 Pro, on the other hand, has a lot more focal length options thanks to its multiple cameras. You have a 13mm ultra wide camera, the standard wide 24mm. You then have a 2x crop from that main lens, giving you roughly 48mm. Then there is the new telephoto camera, which is a 100mm, and this has some significant improvements, larger sensor, so you're gonna get a lot better, more detailed images on this new telephoto camera. And for maximum reach, there is a 2x crop on that telephoto camera, giving you a 200mm equivalent field of view. That versatility makes it perfect for capturing B-roll, cinematic shots, and just getting really creative with your framing, all from one device. And let's not forget the new selfie camera, which is much improved. It's sharper, cleaner, and gives you a much wider field of view, roughly an 18mm field of view. This is a significant improvement over older iPhone selfie cameras, and I feel like I would actually utilize the selfie camera on the iPhone. Now, a cool feature on this new selfie camera is you can actually record landscape video when you are holding your camera in the vertical orientation. This is a lot more comfortable to hold rather than rotating the camera and then kind of looking off to the side. If you hold it vertically, you have a little bit better eye line directly to the camera. Although I do kind of wish that this camera feed was slightly higher up on the phone, so that way we'd have a little bit better eye contact with the camera. But maybe that's a feature that Apple could include in a future firmware update.
So we're trying the new selfie camera on the iPhone 17 Pro and comparing it against the Osmo Pocket 3. And right now it's actually they look quite similar, if I had to be honest. Maybe there is a little bit more shallow depth of field on the Pocket 3, but let me know your thoughts on the selfie camera, because here on the iPhone you can actually see yourself, which might be all the difference if you are planning to film video with your phone. So this is how it looks like. We got Nick in the back, BTS. So super cool that this new selfie camera just allows you to get even better videos.
But when taking a look at the footage of this new selfie camera, again, it looks pretty decent, but in comparison to the Pocket 3, I do find that the Pocket 3's image does look better. It's sharper, has a little bit more shallow depth of field. That's because the Osmo Pocket 3 just rotates if you want to film yourself. So you're gonna have a much higher quality lens and sensor if you are filming yourself. So for creators who do a lot of vlogging and walking and talking with their camera, the Pocket 3 is a clear winner here. And speaking of making things easier, one of my favorite tools for speeding up the editing process is today's sponsor, Gling. Instead of manually editing out all my mistakes in my video, Gling automatically removes the silences, filler words, and bad takes, giving you a clean rough cut with one press of a button. Plus, you can edit your video like a Word document. You highlight a sentence, press delete, and it'll make that edit for you. Once you're done, you can export straight into an editing program like DaVinci Resolve with all your cuts in place that you can then fine tune. I use this tool on every video that I make, and it easily saves me hours each time. If you want to try it for free, click the link in the description down below to see how much time Gling AI can save you. So let's talk about stabilization on both of these cameras. The Osmo Pocket 3, because it has this gimbal design, is going to give you super smooth footage, whether you are walking with the gimbal or doing some intentional camera moves. But really the stabilization is awesome here, and it holds up even if you are running or just simply walking with the camera. The iPhone relies on a mixture of the sensor stabilization as well as digital stabilization to smooth out your shots. So to put the stabilization to the test, we first did a simple walking test just to see how that would look. And honestly, both of them side by side, they both look great. I do think the Osmo Pocket 3 is a little bit smoother although the digital stabilization on the iPhone is holding up. You might notice some small artifacts or warping if you do some more aggressive camera moves, which you might notice here in this running shot. And I think when it comes to running the Osmo Pocket 3, it definitely looks a lot better. Now I was curious to test out the action mode on the iPhone because this will help smooth out things even further. And the action mode does seem to help out here, although you'll notice slightly lower image quality, less detail because we have to shoot at a lower resolution in order to use action mode. Now, if you plan on doing a lot of camera movement with your iPhone, you may want to pick up a gimbal for your phone. And so for this next test, I'm using the Osmo Mobile 7. And this gimbal is going to help reduce a lot of those shakes. And I find the stabilization to look pretty close here. And when you combine the improved image quality coming from the iPhone, I would argue that this is the best overall look. But this is a bulkier and less convenient solution than the all-in-one Pocket 3, which is such a smaller design. So when it comes to stabilization, if you do any sort of walking or talking with the camera, I would definitely recommend the Osmo Pocket 3.
So we're gonna do a little bit of an audio test. Right now I have the Osmo Pocket 3 and this is what its built-in microphone sounds like. Now I'll switch over to the iPhone 17 Pro and this is what its built-in microphone sounds like. It's about an arm's length distance from me, so you won't get the best audio quality. You're better off with a wireless microphone, which we'll test out next. So now I connected the DJI Mic Mini to the Osmo Pocket 3 and I think this sounds much better. It's a lot closer to me. Now with the iPhone, you could use the DJI Mic Mini, but you will have to use the receiver plugged into your phone, but you'll get about the same audio quality if you purchase a DJI Mic Mini. But the iPhone has a secret trick up its sleeve. You can actually now use AirPods as your microphone. So let's go ahead and switch over to that. So you're now listening to the AirPods Pro 2 microphones connected wirelessly to the iPhone 17 Pro. Now, in my opinion, it doesn't sound quite as good as the DJI Mic Mini connected to the Osmo Pocket 3, but this is great in a pinch because many people already have their AirPods with them. So if you happen to be further away from your camera, these are a great option if you are in a pinch.
For our next test, we decided to go indoors in a more dim lit scenario to see how the low light performance holds up. And when comparing the two side by side, I do find that the iPhone has less noise and it gives you a clean and bright image. It seems like Apple is doing a lot of processing to remove most of the noise, but this can lead to an over-processed look. And in this shot, you can really see the difference in skin tones here. I much prefer the DJI Pocket 3 compared to the iPhone where it just looks too artificial. Another thing you'll notice when it comes to low light is the flaring on the iPhone. The iPhone still struggles with lens flares anytime there is a bright light. And because the iPhone is still trying to stabilize the image, those lens flares and those bouncing orbs can be really distracting to the viewer. So overall, even though the DJI Pocket 3 might have a little bit more noise in your image, I do find the image to be a little bit more natural and organic looking compared to the iPhone.
All right, so we got Nick who was behind the camera helping me film today, and you kind of got to experience both of these cameras. You got to film around a little bit.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Both these cameras provide a sense of like, I want to shoot something out in public, but I don't want to be too obvious and look too professional.
Right.
Kind of like for vlogging, which I think like when this came out, it was really cool to have such a small setup and it being like this good of a quality and like stable shots. But like you were saying, like I feel like with the iPhone, you're always going to have a phone with you. So using that as like your main setup, I think it's more like convenient, I would say.
Right. I think convenience is a big thing when it comes to these cameras. If I'm not planning to film, I'm going to use the iPhone, right? But if I want to like purposely traveling, there is something so convenient about the Pocket 3. It's gimbal. I feel like no matter what you throw at it, it's always going to be smooth.
Whereas in the iPhone, sure, it has the action mode, but even like with our test earlier with the running, you can see like by the edges of it, it was slightly jittery. I'm not sure if it was just the digital stabilization, but it's definitely not as smooth as like your Osmo Pocket. I think with where iPhone's currently at with their cameras, they're definitely like improved, and I would say like it's even gone closer to cinema cameras. I shoot with the A6700, and I feel like comparing with the Sony S-Log3 and the Apple Log2, I think they're pretty close. Yeah, like color grading wise, like I was able to bring so much color into the shots. I can see myself probably even shooting like a whole short film with the new iPhone. And the front camera, like the selfie camera. the craziness of like being able to just hold it vertical but still have it landscape because of its square sensor.
Right.
I think is really cool.
Yeah, the vertical hold is so much more comfortable, and I also think it's less conspicuous, right? If you are out filming today, maybe you don't want people to know that you're filming.
Yeah.
And so you can just like hold it like this and it just looks like you're FaceTiming someone.
Yeah.
If you had to choose just between these two cameras, you're saving up for them, which one would you actually choose?
Personally, just for the convenience and like the pro features that comes with it, I would say the iPhone, just because I'm always bring my camera with me. And I've been doing a lot of like content too, like on my phone, which I think is super convenient. Picture too, like
Photos,
pictures,
yeah.
photos are a big thing.
Yeah.
Taking photos on this guy, I feel like is nowhere compared to like getting it on the iPhone. So
It was a garbage experience in that you can't control anything. And yeah, with the iPhone, you get RAW, 48 megapixels, and a ton of different lenses. We haven't talked about lenses.
yeah, the lenses. You only have one lens on the Osmo Pocket, while the iPhone has like
4 cameras.
4 cameras.
Yeah, that is a big difference. I think with the Pocket, there are some workarounds. You can buy the wide angle adapter, which makes it 15 millimeter. And then there's the new 2X crop, which will bring it to 40 mil. But in practice, like, I'm not always gonna bring the wide angle adapter. I'm not always gonna wanna zoom in. I think with the iPhone, you not only get a wider 13 millimeter, you get the 24, you get a 100 millimeter telephoto. There are a lot of shots today where I was actually able to grab shots on the telephoto lens and it looks so good. You have a new larger sensor that just, you can actually get some real shallow depth of field on that 100 mil. And some of the photos, it looks just amazing on the 100 mil. Definitely for photos, the iPhone is so much better.
Yeah, and like bringing it to a concert, like you can't like zoom in as much as you can with the iPhone to get like your favorite artists like performing on stage.
Yeah, they probably won't allow you that.
That too, yeah.
I think I would agree with you that the iPhone would probably be the more convenient camera. Stabilization and audio, I think, is better on the Pocket 3.
I agree.
So having tested both of these cameras now, I wanted to share my thoughts on who should get which kind of camera. If you want to get cinematic video and have strong post-production flexibility with color grading, and you might prefer one device for filming, editing, and sharing your videos, the iPhone is such a great tool, and it's impressive to see how far the video capabilities of the iPhone has come along. And if you use it as your main phone, you're always going to have it on you, which is a big plus. But if you're a creator who does a lot of vlogs, travel, or talking head videos on the go, and you want great stabilization and audio right out of the box, the DJI Pocket 3 is not only powerful, but is extremely simple and easy to use. But if you were asking me which one I would choose based off of my content creation needs, I would choose the iPhone. The footage you can get out of the iPhone is insanely good and sometimes on par with what I can get out of my mirrorless camera. Plus, it's so much more than just a camera. You can take notes, edit your footage, and share your videos directly from your phone. Plus, chances are I'll always have this on me, and so I can always be capable of grabbing great video. But those features only matter if you actually know how to use them. And so if you want to know the exact settings to get the best video quality possible out of your iPhone, check out this video right here.